My mother didn't just yell at me. She locked me out. Not for a night. Not until I cooled off. Forever. All because I refused to marry a man I didn't love. I was 28. An associate. Independent enough to know my own mind. But to her, I was just a disobedient daughter. I stood at the door, hand raised to knock. Through the wood, I heard her breathing. Waiting. The bolt slid into place with a metallic click that echoed through the empty hallway. "Don't you dare come back here," she said. Behind her, I heard my sister Hazel's chair scrape. A soft gasp. Then nothing. The TV clicked back on. Wheel of Fortune. Laughter. I held my phone, my purse, and absolutely nothing else. 10 years passed. No calls. No apologies. No explanations. And last week, one photo changed everything. I'm Amelia. I'm 38 now, and I close multi-million-dollar commercial real estate deals in Austin.
But none of that mattered to my family.
Not until one photo, 10 years after that night, made them finally see me. And somehow, that photo turned me into the villain overnight. What my mother didn't know, I'd been paying for her life for years. And when I stopped, everything came crashing down. Let me take you back to that night. My younger sister Hazel sat across from me, picking at her pasta, saying nothing. She was good at that, staying silent while Mom constructed the trap. "David's family is very respected," Mom said. "His father is a cardiologist. His mother volunteers at the hospital foundation. They have a beautiful home in Preston Hollow." "I don't care about Preston Hollow," I said. Her fork hit the plate. "You don't care about anything except that job." "That job you hate?" "It keeps the lights on in this house," I replied. Silence. The kind that makes the air feel thick. Because here's what they didn't understand. I'd been covering the mortgage for 3 years. Since Dad passed. Since Mom's hours got cut at the school district. Since Hazel decided grad school was more important than contributing. I paid. I stayed quiet about it. Until that moment. "David is a good man," Mom continued. "He has a stable career. He wants a family. What exactly are you waiting for?" "Someone I actually love," I answered. She laughed. Actually laughed. "Love? You think love keeps a roof over your head?"
"No."
"My paycheck does. The one you seem to forget about." That's when her face changed. When I saw the resentment she'd been swallowing for years.
She wasn't proud of me. She was threatened by me.
"You've become selfish," she said. "Success went to your head. You've forgotten who raised you, who sacrificed for you." I stood up. "I think I deserve to choose my own life. Then choose it somewhere else." Hazel's eyes went wide. "What?" I whispered. Mom stood too. "If you can't respect this family, then leave. Get out. And don't come back until you remember where you came from." I stared at her, waiting for her to blink, to take it back. She didn't. So I picked up my purse, walked to the door,
and left.
That's when she bolted it behind me. I stood there for a moment, waiting for the lock to click back open. It never did. My phone buzzed exactly 47 minutes after I stopped crying. A text from Hazel appeared on my phone. She didn't mean it. "Just apologize." I typed back. For what? 3 disappeared, then vanished, leaving me staring at the screen. No reply. Just silence. That silence became my signal. That's when I made a decision that would define the next decade of my life. I called the bank the next morning and canceled the automatic mortgage payments. My finger hovered over confirm. A rush of guilt and relief collided inside me. Then I thought about that bolt sliding into place. I clicked it. 3 years of covering their house done. If Mom wanted me out of her life, she was out of my wallet too. Then I called my boss, Brian. He'd been trying to recruit me to the Austin office for months. "I'm in," I said. 2 weeks later, I packed my life into a single suitcase and disappeared from Dallas like a ghost no one could summon. I closed a $12 million deal within 6 months. Met Luca, a contract lawyer. We married fast. Had Connor even faster. For a moment, I let myself believe it. That I'd finally built the family that wouldn't lock me out. But Luca noticed what I refused to see. One night, while I was sorting Connor's toys, he said quietly, "You're not here." I looked up. He didn't blink. "You're a great mom. You're killing it at work. But you're still in that hallway staring at a locked door that doesn't even exist anymore." And God, he was right. We divorced when Connor turned 2. Not out of anger. Out of honesty. He deserved a whole parent, not someone who'd been living on emotional autopilot. I rebuilt everything from scratch. New routines. New city. New life. And then 4 years later, the past did knock. It reached straight through my phone and wrapped its hand around my throat. I was buckling Connor into his car seat during preschool pickup when my phone buzzed. Unknown Dallas number. Amelia? It was Aunt Catherine, my mom's sister. Her voice was shaking. "It's your mother. Heart attack. She's stable, but the house is in foreclosure. She's asking for you." For years of silence. And suddenly she wanted me? That night, I wired $5,000 to Aunt Catherine. 2 weeks later, Catherine called from a different number. "Your mother sent the money back," Catherine said quietly. "She told me to tell you, she doesn't need your charity. She said if you're not willing to come see her, she doesn't want anything from you." "Wait, it gets worse." "Catherine," I said slowly. "How did you get my number?" "I never gave it to Mom." Silence. "She's always had it, hasn't she?" "Amelia," Catherine started. For years of wondering if she even cared enough to find me. She'd known where I was the whole time. Something inside me went cold. I hung up, and I made a promise to myself. I was done. No more trying. No more caring. I closed my biggest deal the next month. That promise lasted 5 more years. Until she proved she'd never stop trying to control me. I was at Connor's kindergarten graduation when my phone buzzed. Unknown Dallas number. Against every instinct, I answered. "Amelia?" A man's voice. Familiar but distant. "Who is this?" "It's David. David Morrison. Your mother reached out to me. She thought maybe, after all this time, we could reconnect." The auditorium disappeared. My vision tunneled. Parents clapping around me became white noise. "She gave you my number?" My voice came out flat. "Dangerous. She said you'd matured. That you might be ready to talk. About us. About giving things another chance. She told me you'd been through a divorce. That you were struggling as a single mom. That you needed stability." The phone nearly slipped from my grip. 9 years of silence, and she'd rewritten me as a cautionary tale. A failure who needed rescuing by the exact man she'd tried to force on me a decade ago. "She gave you my number?" I repeated. "My private cell phone number?" "Amelia, I thought," David started. "Did she tell you why I refused you, David? Did she tell you what happened that night? That I stood in the hallway with nothing but my purse while she bolted the door and turned the TV back on?" Silence. Connor tugged my sleeve. "Mommy, your face looks scary." On stage, Connor's class was receiving their certificates. I was missing it. I forced myself to breathe. "Did she tell you I have a son? That I built a career without her? That I tried to help her when she was sick and she threw it back in my face?" She said you'd had some disagreements, but..." David's voice was uncertain now. "Disagreements." I laughed, sharp and bitter. "She threw me out for refusing you, David. 10 years ago. And now she's using you like a key to unlock me? Giving you my private number without permission?"
No.
"We're done here." "Amelia, I didn't know." "Now you do. Lose this number. And tell my mother if she ever contacts you about me again, I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what she did." I hung up. My hands shook with something that wasn't fear anymore. It was clarity. But I didn't block David's number. I saved it. Saved the call log. Screenshot the timestamp. Because I'd learned something in those years. When someone shows you who they are, document it. Connor tugged my sleeve again. "Mommy, are you okay?" I looked down at my son, my beautiful, kind son who would never know what it felt like to have love held hostage. That's when I realized. She wasn't sorry. She was still trying to win. And that's when I stopped hiding and started strategizing. By the time Connor turned 8, I'd convinced myself I'd made peace with it all. I was a senior associate at the firm. Connor was thriving. I had a life that worked. Then Brian called me into his office on a Thursday afternoon. "Sit down," he said. "Am I fired?" I asked. He laughed. "The opposite. We just landed the Catalyst Tower project. 40 stories. $200 million development. The client wants you as lead. I'm making you senior partner. Effective immediately. Senior partner. At 38. In a male-dominated industry where women usually hit that level in their 50s, if at all. There's one more thing," Brian continued. "The client wants a press release. Photos, interviews, social media. They want the face of this project to be you. This is your moment, Amelia. Say yes." I thought about staying invisible, staying safe. Then I thought about David's phone call. My mother's decade of silence. If she was going to keep trying to control my narrative, I'd control it myself. "Let's do it," I said. The press event was Saturday morning. Rooftop of the site, overlooking downtown Austin. The client CEO, Kent Harrison, shook my hand. "I've been watching your work for 2 years. This project is yours. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." The photographer positioned us near the edge, skyline behind us, construction cranes in the frame. Then Kent gestured toward the helipad on the adjacent building. "My helicopter's here. Let's get a shot with that." I blinked. "Your helicopter." He grinned. "You're a senior partner now, Amelia. Get used to working with people who have helicopters." The helicopter was sleek, black, with the Harrison logo on the side. The rotors hummed in the background as the photographer took maybe 20 shots. Me in my navy suit, hair blowing slightly, skyline and helicopter framing everything. I felt powerful, successful, visible. But that photo would do something I never expected. I had no idea that visibility would detonate my entire life. The press release went out Monday morning. The helicopter photo was everywhere. Austin Business Journal, Texas Monthly, LinkedIn, Twitter. My phone exploded. Congratulations from colleagues. Interview requests. Proof that I'd made it. Then, buried in my LinkedIn messages, I saw a name I hadn't seen in 10 years. "Amelia, it's Hazel. We need to talk. It's about Mom." My finger hovered over the delete button. Then I clicked. "About what?" I typed. Her response was instant. "She saw your photo. She's furious. She's telling everyone you abandoned the family. She's saying you're celebrating with helicopters while she struggles. Amelia, she's out for blood." I stared at my screen. Not proud.
Not sorry.
Furious. Picture this. 10 years of silence. And now she has an opinion? And then I saw what she'd done. And it was worse than I could have imagined. I was in line at Starbucks when Brian texted. "Someone's trashing you in the comments. You okay?" I opened the article on my phone. Scrolled past congratulations.
Past envy.
Then I saw it. A comment from an account named Linda M. "Interesting that you're celebrating with helicopters while your mother struggles to pay her mortgage. Family means nothing to you. But I guess that's what happens when success goes to your head. Shame on you, Amelia." Linda. My mother's middle name. She'd created a fake account to destroy me. The barista called my name 3 times before I heard her. My coffee shook in my hand as I walked to my car. Connor was at his dad's. The office was empty. She'd found the article and decided to publicly destroy me. I sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes, staring at that comment, hands shaking. Then I thought about that night 10 years ago, about the $5,000 she sent back, about the LinkedIn request she sent just to see if I'd respond, about 8-year-old Connor asking if Grandma was mad at him. She doesn't get to erase me twice. I took a screenshot. Sent it to Hazel with the David call log I'd saved. I opened my laptop. Emailed the editor at Austin Business Journal. "I want to write a response piece about what happens when family makes love conditional." She responded in 20 minutes. "Send it. We'll publish it." I typed for 3 hours straight. No filter. No softening. Just the truth about locked doors and conditional love and what it costs to finally choose yourself. I never mentioned my mother by name. But I told the story. The night everything shattered. The rejected help. The years of silence. The public attack from someone who'd spent a decade playing victim. 3 days later, they published it. The real cost of family pressure. Why I chose myself. The article went viral. 50,000 shares in 3 days. Comments poured in from other daughters, other sons, other people who'd been made to feel guilty for choosing themselves. For the first time in 10 years, I wasn't the villain in her story. And my mother's fake Linda M. account? It went silent. Because when you shine light on manipulation, it can't hide anymore. There's something else, Hazel said when she called that night. When you sent that $5,000, Mom knew. She made me promise not to reach out to you. She's always known you tried to help Amelia. She just chose to stay angry anyway. The room spun. All these years, I'd thought maybe she didn't know. But she'd known. And she'd chosen resentment anyway. I'm telling everyone the truth, Hazel said. Aunt Catherine. The cousins. All of them. I'm done protecting her. For the first time in 10 years, I felt like I had an ally. That night, Connor asked me a question at bedtime. We were reading stories when he looked up at me with those big, serious eyes. Mommy, why don't I have a grandma? I froze.
You do, buddy.
We don't talk anymore. Why? He asked. Sometimes grown-ups make mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes are too big to fix.
He thought about this.
Then, did she say sorry?
No, buddy.
She didn't. He nodded solemnly. Then she's still in timeout. Out of the mouths of children. He understood boundaries better than my mother ever had. Later that night, he called me back to his room. Mommy, is Grandma mad at me? Is that why she doesn't want to meet me? And that's when I realized my mother's choices weren't just hurting me anymore. They were hurting my son. So I brought him into the light and forced her to see what she'd thrown away. The Catalyst Tower broke ground 2 weeks later. Hard hats, golden shovels, the mayor in attendance. Press everywhere. This time, I brought Connor. Luca dressed him in a tiny suit. I got him a hard hat that was way too big. And when the photographer asked us to pose, I pulled Connor close and smiled like we owned the world. That photo went viral. Single mom leads $200 million project while raising young son. I knew exactly what that photo would do. I knew my mother would see it. I knew it would hurt. And I didn't care anymore. Because she needed to see what she'd thrown away. Hazel kept her promise to tell everyone the truth. She told Aunt Catherine everything. The locked door. The rejected money. The David setup. The fake account. Catherine called Mom.
Told her she was ashamed.
2 women from Mom's church group saw my viral article. They'd had no idea. They'd been hearing Mom's version for years. The ungrateful daughter who abandoned her. They stopped inviting her to Bible study. David called Mom and told her to never contact him about me again. He'd seen my article. He finally understood what she'd done. By the time Mom was ready to apologize, she'd lost the narrative.
Publicly. Completely.
And I hadn't said a single cruel word about her. I just told the truth. 3 months later, an email appeared in my inbox. Subject: I'm sorry. From Mom. Amelia. I was wrong. I was wrong to kick you out. I was wrong to make my love conditional. I was wrong to reject your help when you sent money for my medical bills. I was wrong to comment on that article.
I was wrong to contact David.
I've been watching your life from a distance, the articles, the photos, everything you've built. And I see it now. I see what I threw away. I see the mother you've become. I see Connor, and I know I've missed everything that matters. I'm proud of you,
even if I don't deserve to say it.
I love you. I always have. Even when I was too stubborn to show it.
Mom.
I read it 3 times. My first instinct? Delete it. My second instinct? Forward it to Hazel with a sarcastic, too little, too late. But then Connor walked into my home office, holding his Lego tower. Mommy, look. I fixed the part that was broken. And I thought, that's what she's asking for. A chance to fix what she broke. But I wasn't going to make it easy. I opened a new reply and typed exactly what I needed from her.
Mom,
I got your email. Here are my terms. 1. You'll tell the truth to everyone who heard your version. Aunt Catherine, the church group, your friends. You will admit what happened that night. You will admit you rejected my help. You will admit you tried to control me through David years later. 2. You will delete the Linda M. account and post a public correction on that article. From your real name, admitting what you did. 3. Only after you do those things will I consider letting you meet Connor. And it will be on my timeline, not yours. This isn't punishment, Mom. It's the price of the door you locked. If you can't pay it, I'll understand. But my peace doesn't depend on your answer anymore. Amelia. I hit send before I could change my mind. 3 hours later, she responded. I'll do it. All of it. Thank you for this chance.
Mom.
2 weeks passed before I checked the article again. 2 weeks later, I was scrolling through the Austin Business Journal article, the one with the helicopter photo, when I saw a new comment. From Linda Murphy. My mother's real name. I'm the mother Amelia referred to in her response article. I created the Linda M. account. I was wrong to attack my daughter publicly. She tried to help me when I was sick, and I rejected her out of pride. I kicked her out of my home because she refused an arranged marriage. I've spent 10 years blaming her for choices I made. I'm sorry, Amelia. You deserved better. I hope someday I can earn the chance to meet your son. The comment had 2,000 likes within hours. Dozens of replies from other mothers saying they'd learned something. Hazel called me. She did it. She actually did it. I see that, I whispered. She called Aunt Catherine too. And the church group. She told them everything. For the first time in 10 years, I felt something I hadn't expected. Justice. 6 months later, we met my mother at a park. Neutral ground. Hazel was there. Mom looked smaller than I remembered from that night a decade ago. Gray hair, new lines around her eyes, hands trembling slightly as she held out the gift, a children's book about buildings. She knelt down to Connor's level.
Hi, Connor.
I'm your grandma. I made some big mistakes, but your mom gave me a chance to try again. Is that okay with you? Connor looked up at me. I nodded.
Okay, he said.
But Mommy's in charge. Mom smiled, tears streaming down her face. Mommy's always been in charge. I just forgot that for a while. We stayed for an hour. Mom pushed Connor on the swings. Asked him about school. Listened, really listened when he talked about his love of Legos. She didn't try to hug me.
Didn't push for more time.
Didn't make excuses. When we left, she walked us to the car. Thank you, she whispered, for not giving up on me the way I gave up on you. I didn't do it for you, I said quietly. I did it for him. And for me. Because I wanted him to see that people can change if they're willing to do the work. She nodded. I'm doing the work. I promise. I know, I said. That's why we're here. The Catalyst Tower officially opened last week. 40 stories. $200 million. My name on the dedication plaque. Mom asked if she could come to the ribbon cutting. I almost said no. Because here's the thing about forgiveness. It's not one decision. It's 1,000 small decisions. Every time they test the boundary. Every time you wonder if they've really changed. I told her yes. But I also told her, you sit in the audience. Not the VIP section. You don't get to stand next to me for photos. You've met Connor twice. You haven't earned front row yet. She didn't argue. She said, thank you for letting me be there at all. Was I doing the right thing? Or was I setting myself up to get hurt again? The day of the ribbon cutting, I spotted her immediately through the crowd. Back row. Navy dress. Hands folded. Not trying to wave or get my attention.
Just there.
Quietly. On my terms. And when I gave my speech about what this project meant, about building something that would outlast us all, I didn't mention her. But when Connor raised his tiny golden shovel and the crowd cheered, I saw her crying in the back. Not tears of pride. Tears of grief for everything she'd missed. After the ceremony, she approached slowly. Can I say something? She asked. I nodded. I'm not going to say I'm proud of you. You've heard that. I'm going to say something harder. I'm sorry I made you build this alone. You deserved a mother who celebrated you before the helicopters, before the tower, before the world saw what I should have seen all along. That was the apology I needed, not the email.
This.
My mother thought that night would teach me a lesson. She thought I'd come crawling back, desperate for her approval, willing to live the life she'd chosen for me. She had no idea it would lead to this. She had no idea that the daughter she tried to erase would become the woman who built everything she could never take away. And here's the thing about locked doors. You don't have to spend your life knocking. You can walk away, build your own house, create your own family, and demand that anyone who wants back and earns it, with actions, not words. On your timeline, not theirs. That's the truth about the helicopter photo. It wasn't about showing off. It was about showing up for myself, for my son, for the life I built from nothing. And when my mother finally showed up too, really showed up, with accountability and change, I let her in. Not because she deserved it, but because I did.